is Logan M. Wolf. I'm Dominican, straight from the Caribbean. I'm an illustrator, writer, and jewelry designer. My background as an artist has been interesting. All my life I've been, trying to reach into the arts somehow. First it was writing, either little poems and stuff like that, little stories. Music. I'm a trained classical guitarist, but my real journey began when I lived in France for like a year. I discovered that I really wanted to do arts. Like that was my calling, like that was the thing that I really wanted to do. And ever since, I have focused my life towards the arts. My work is regularly inspired by nature. The beauty of the organics, how those branches just move freely, how life manifests itself around us. It's the gold that I'm always looking for. What drew me to come here to this residency was not just the beauty of coming to Japan, but also the challenge of getting myself immersed back into the arts after a long hiatus due to a brief accident, let's call it. And the opportunity to just share with like-minded people and like-hearted artists. I guess I could describe my experience so far as a blissful situation. It's been amazing not just to experiment and see other artists also experiment in their craft and actually, go into the dark side of what they're doing and bringing out the light from within. Being able to allow not just to experiment with things that may be a little foreign, but also to allow inspiration come from places outside of our comfort zone. The pieces that I'm working on right now are actually pretty intense in a way. I was told that there had been an earthquake a couple months back and that there were going to be some people trying to find their way back home, trying to find hope, trying to find strength into rebuilding. So I chose to do a 4-part piece. It started as a triptych, it became a 4-part piece, and it's supposed to be retailing the passing of time, considering where they were before, where they are now, and where they could be headed. It's very much inspiring for me because it also opens up the door for me to focus on what's coming. It's not just them rebuilding, it's also me rebuilding. So I'm very much connected with that idea. So the second piece that I'm working on, it's a collaborative piece. I'm doing a mural in one of the rooms with 4 very talented artists. Well, with 3 other very talented artists. And the part that I'm doing is very organic. It's basically rocks and dry branches with tiny leaves and very, open spaces. Kind of like to decorate the area and give it a more lively, feel to it. It's pretty interesting because what we're working on is based on a legend of a 3-legged crow, and creating the environment for that 3-legged crow to actually exist is pretty interesting. It's like trying to look at the world through the eyes of a crow.
Let's wait for that.
The crow.
Yeah.
I guess
It's actually so funny because in Jungle's interview, when he was talking about the crow, there was a crow.
Yeah, right.
That was making a noise, so that's actually really wild.
They probably understand us a little. They know we're talking about them.
Sorry.
So yeah, just creating a space for that crow, like, the place for it to coexist with, feels like looking at the world through the eyes of the crow itself. So it's pretty interesting. And it gives me a little bit more of a perspective while working. Even if the surface itself is kind of rough. A little challenge. Challenge is always good. Sounds like you're mocking me, bro. What's up? With this experience, I hope to achieve a reconnection with my arts. It's been a while since I worked with the media that I like to work with, which is charcoal. And it has been a gift and a curse, but more a gift than a curse, to be honest. I'm happy to be reconnecting with the medium that really tells the story that I want to, share. I just hope it translates proper. The local culture has been a big influence to at least this particular side of my work. Way before coming over here, I already had a lot of drive and draw towards Japanese culture. But at this point, experiencing it firsthand has been very much an insightful trip, you know what I mean? And there is so much to absorb. It's not just the beauty of nature around us, which is very, prominent, but also the kindness of the people, the lovingness that they show, the willingness to ask questions, the curiosity. Their curiosity has really sparked something. It's nice to have people interested on why. Of course, we are foreigners, so when you see a foreigner, you're curious to know why they're around, in your town. And this being a small town, even though we could say it's a touristy town to a degree, it's still apparently for them kind of new to see foreigners walking around so freely. And their curiosity sparks my curiosity. It makes me feel comfortable asking questions and going to places that I'm not necessarily familiar with, or just randomly going to locations and adventuring myself, you know what I mean? Seeking that, seeking the joy that they enjoy and sharing it with them. So I've had a few interactions with locals, mostly, what we call civilians in the art world. And they have been pretty interesting in the sense of they've been servicial. For example, last night I was having a lot of trouble trying to cut some wood, and this old lady decided that she wanted to help just because she saw me, struggling with it. Couple hours later, she shows up with a friend who came by train with a little saw, and that was mind-blowing to me. I wasn't expecting her to actually go out of her way to actually, help me out like that. And that's the kind of beauty that you can see here. It's just people with open hearts. They see you doing whatever it is, and they appreciate what you're doing. But if they see you struggle, they don't hesitate in extending their helping hands, And that is very beautiful. A lasting impact on my artistic practice from my experience here. I think that situation with the old lady, that's definitely gonna stick with me. One particular moment that I can think of that will definitely have a lasting, impact in my practice, it's actually what you mentioned, the washi paper workshop. Originally I wasn't gonna take it. I had so much to work with and I needed to focus on that. But then I heard the artisan speak on how we were gonna do that, how we were gonna work with the paper. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to get a little bit of this, because this is a one-time chance to actually get to add more to the craft. I'm already a guy that likes doing things, not just drawing on it, but I mean creating things. That's why I like jewelry making. I like crafting. And to have the opportunity to learn how to make my own paper, and not just any paper, washi paper, I mean, come on. It's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And after experiencing it, I was I need to get deeper onto this. And that gave me the opportunity and the drive to actually ask, yo, are you taking apprentices? Like, can I come back and just stay with you as long as it's required to learn the craft proper and be able to partake in the beauty of it, and then portray that in my work, to actually create new pieces on that particular paper. It brings a totally new light. It's not the same to go to an art store and buy paper when you actually have the chance to make your own paper at your studio, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful experience, and I am really looking forward to actually making wonderful pieces with that new paper and that new skill. Living and working with other artists, it's actually commonplace for me to a degree. Most of my experiences when it comes to, like, say, art school or traveling abroad for art purposes have led to me being surrounded by peers. But this particular experience has opened up many other paths to connection. It has shown me how much I really have in common with my peers. It has shown me how much I really appreciate being able to share the experience, share the process, be able to bounce ideas, to be able to create something not just from my mind and my perspective, but also sharing the perspective of others and being able to accept their input open arms and open-heartedly, you know what I mean? So it's something that I'm going to cherish. One thing that I really expectation leads to disappointment, but like, I really hope that my work translates in a proper way, maybe, with other people, in terms of my wish is to send out the message that things can be rebuilt and that path is a choice. The path of time, the passing of time itself is not necessarily a choice. Time passes and we don't have a say on that, but the path that time chooses, or the path that time takes, is something that we have an influence on. And I hope they can see that in my work and find it in their hearts to wish to rebuild, to wish to make a new blank slate feel meaningful and feel powerful. Like, you actually have the power in your hands to make your own destiny, to manifest.